May 22, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. What's the chart look like today? It's kind of the big M shape. I did take one trade, and then there was a couple of almost trades I marked. Throughout the day, it just kind of things just didn't quite set up. And I noticed there was like a few areas where I don't know if news came out or something where it got a little herky-jerky and rapid. So we'll go into the setups right now. There was no economic data that came out to really move the markets. Pre-market looked like it was almost like two legs up or maybe three. Push down, moves up in this green up channel, sells off on this orange down channel. Localized high, it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, but it also looks like it's just one big move. So it's just like one leg down. Hits a localized bottom, like a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short right here, and then you have a second entry short failure. But it's if you try to take a long on the failure, you're buying right into the highs. It looks like it was two legs up. I tried to find another channel to fit it, and this trend line kind of supports it, but didn't really help at all. So it hits a localized high and the actually the high of day. Creates a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I saw this and I got kind of cued in that maybe even though it was two legs up, it could try to push again to the highs. It was bouncing off support. This is a really strong signal bar, but it never broke above, and the risk is a little high. So I just kind of wanted to wait for a higher low, and then a higher low does show up. So a higher low shows up, and I take this trade. But the funny thing is, this is the signal bar that's present now. This signal bar is much better in real time, and you can tell because my entry was actually near, I think, one tick above the high of the signal bar. But when I did a data reload a little bit further down, I think further down here, I did data refresh and went back and looked at the trade. Now the setup looks a little weird, as well as my entry looks really terrible because it looked like I entered way late and I didn't. So I actually entered, and this signal bar actually closed a little higher. I'm not really sure what NinjaTrader did, but I'll probably do a cache flush reset, clear out the old data. So any, I guess, slowdown in NinjaTrader or any weird historical data reload doesn't kind of create this weird anomaly. I should have taken a snapshot of the setup before I did the data refresh. I typically try to remember to do that, but I didn't do it this time. So this trade looks a little bit, I guess, strange. It looks definitely like I entered way late, but it did move up 6 ticks. And the part of the reason I liked it was enough room before I hit the highs. And the setup just looked like a confirmation of the second entry long. And then prices then sold off. Looks like it's two legs down, maybe just this one big leg through this channel, but it never colored it in. Doesn't look quite right. Creates a localized low, first entry short, but it also looks like it's two legs up and then a flush down. The I saw this. I don't remember if it looked exactly like this because I think I did the data refresh over here. I don't remember if this candle was affected, but in any case, it's too close to the support, so I'd be weary of selling into this potential support area. Prices move down, breaks to the low. It might have been moving down this orange down channel. Then it starts moving up this green up channel. Technically, you have a first entry short here, but it looks like it's just moving up one channel, like a first entry short, second entry short inside bar. Then prices keep moving. It looked like it was moving down this wider channel, but it didn't really set up for anything. Looks like it was moving up this green up channel, then break, and it started slowly moving up this. So I thought this might have been like a small spike in a channel moving up. But even then, this purple up channel doesn't fit the cleanest. So I just kind of left it alone. Break, test the high, flushes back down. Technically, if a first entry long pullback, second entry long, I really wanted a setup here. But unfortunately, this signal bar never broke up below this one. So this is actually inside to this guy. And then this red one's still inside to this red one. So when you see this in real time, it's just kind of throwing up all kinds of caution flags. It starts moving up. Looks like it was ranging here. You do have a second entry long here, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Pushes to the high. At this point, I did have the data refreshed, so this is more accurate and no weird artifacts, I guess historical artifacts. It was a localized high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I was wondering about this setup because I didn't really trust that this channel was in play. I mean, the high side fit kind of well, but the low side not so well. I did try to kind of collapse it to keep it tighter, but anyway I drew it, it didn't really quite fit so well. So I left it down here, and I was thinking at the time, maybe this is two legs down. It's going to push back up based on the strength of this kind of weak support of this trend channel. But I didn't really like it, didn't feel confident in it, but I just liked the signal bar. So when it did push back in, I was looking for a higher low, but it never shows up. So it kind of saved me from making any weird guesses. Looks like it was moving down this channel I had drawn at one time. I also had a really aggressive one drawn here, but it never really panned out. And then I tried establishing this channel, but it also didn't really pan out because it didn't have very good confirmations on the low side. High side is still debatable because the failed breakout here was new low, first entry short, second entry short. It is breaking below the EMA, but the EMA, I have to admit, was a little is ambiguous because it was cutting through the middle of the price action. Prices were going above and below. If it's something showed up here where it's a little bit more clearly displaying that the bias is one way, it would have been something else, but this is kind of cutting right through the middle. It's a localized low. Looks like it's kind of like two legs up. It's getting choppy. There's a localized low here. It's a first entry short pullback. You have a second entry short here, but that's the signal bar, so nothing there. Looks like it's two legs up. And it moves down on this kind of not clear leg, so I'm not a big fan of that. Hits the low, and you can see the timestamp. Like this happens very quickly. I'm not really sure if any kind of news came out. And it does give you a second entry long here. But the second entry long kind of rapidly forms and pushes all the way up. So there was no real time for me to make any clear judgment. Plus this push down break, I was thinking there's a possibility it could make, a small leg up and then make a second leg down. So it was a little unsure what was going on there. Presses and makes a new localized high, actually high of day. First entry long pullback, second entry long, again, not the best signal bar. This red down channel doesn't even fit that well. I also tried, drawing it a few different ways, but it never really, I couldn't really find a channel that fit nicely and clean. So when I have trouble like that, I try not to look for a setup then because it inherently just kind of indicates that I'm not too clear on what's going on. I mean, you could generally say prices are moving down or moving a certain direction, but I don't have any other guidelines or key entry points to trust. So when I see and I draw stuff like this, or like this, or like this, I've learned from a bunch of mistakes that if I can't color it in and there's not many confirmations, try not to take a trade here because it's just ambiguous. It just gets messy. I really don't know what's going on. It's just ripe for disaster. So it moves down this red down channel. I thought it might have been two legs on the bigger time frame. It hits this kind of consolidation area. I really wanted this trade to set up nicely because it was a triple test, second entry short, two legs up. But by the time it closes, it's too close to this support area that shown that it could be a potential bounce point, and there's no room to scalp out, so I had to leave it alone. If I did take the trade, it would have worked out, but it's that like the risk I'm taking seems not favorable. I mean, not that it's just a 4.75 size candle, but just how much room do I have? How much am I expecting the prices to move? I'm expecting prices to not only give me 6 ticks, that would mean it break below here, where there's clearly look like there's some kind of support here. So turns out to be an almost trade. It's a localized low, first entry short. Second entry short, I mean, by the technical count, but that's not a good signal bar. It's just a little ambiguous what's going on. As prices were migrating, I established this trading range, but then it looks like prices later were respecting some kind of resistance here. EMA is right here, and it's not acting super strong as a resistance, so it makes it hard to trade or hard to trust it as a key entry point. So localized low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. What I really wanted was this not to close at the EMA. And if it does close at the EMA, I don't want this tiny little stem. I want it to be a flat bottom that I could trust, maybe momentum is still pushed down for 6 ticks. But when it pushes down and then before it closes, pulls back by even 1 tick, then it gives me a little bit of caution. And right at the EMA. So it's like I want it at least below the EMA or at least have no stem. So unfortunately, that didn't happen. Then prices continue moving down. It just kind of gets a little more choppy. I try to make this channel fit, but it didn't really fit that well. It's a localized low, and this is actually right where the last 30 minutes is. Creates a first entry short, second entry short. I call this an almost trade. It's tempting. It does look like it's 2 legs up, but it also looks like it's one on a bigger time scale. Looks like one big leg up, and it just barely broke. So it's hard to trust that this break has tested the high because this channel doesn't fit too well. And this isn't the cleanest setup. So I was be looking for a lower high. You get it here. But by the time this lower high shows up, this is just too late in the day to try to take it. And considering like the week that has been, well, not yielding that many setups or that many trades, just getting one and being profitable for the day going into a long weekend, I was just like kind of checked out. I just decided, yeah, I'm not going to try to make anything happen or try to force another trade, especially when I'm already up for the day. That I don't want to kind of end the day giving back the profits and maybe more on a long weekend because that would just annoy the hell out of me. So hopefully that was helpful.